let me first say hi. My name is Peter Glass. I'm the council contingent leader for the Jamboree. I'm also on the council board for the Mayflower Council, and I am the area commissioner for New England, along with being on the board for the Northeast region of the United States. I would also tell you I've been doing the Jamborees since 1993, starting with the Old Colony Council. I've been assistant scoutmasters, I've been scoutmaster, I've been contingent leader a number of times, and I've also been on the national staff at the Summit Center. So for me, one more Jamboree, and this is fun. So let me tell you about our Jamboree. First, we're working on getting scouts signed up for the 221 National Jamboree for our contingent. We are sending 5 troops. 4 troops will be boys, 1 troop will be girls. We have a good number of kids signed up already, and we're trying to encourage people to get signed up now so that we can fill our troops. So just some information that you can see on your screen. The Jamboree runs from July 20 to July 31 next summer. And right now it's a go and everything is working just fine. I'm sorry for the funny summer we're in right now, but next summer doesn't look like that's going to happen. And if you look at it, at a Jamboree, we expect about 40,000 scouts. We're at the Summit Center in West Virginia. And if we look at this last summer, the summer before last, the World Jamboree was just held there. And of the 40,000 scouts that attended from around the world, about 51% were girls. So when you look at it and say, oh, do girls come camping with us? The answer is yes. And we're very excited at having our first female troop of all girls with all ladies leading that troop. So if we look at it, our contingent's going to be 4 troops of boys. And in each troop, there are 36 scouts and 4 leaders. And we'll have 1 troop of all girls. And again, 36 ladies and 4 adult leaders. And we're working hard. Those leaders will also be adult females. And again, it's the first time we're doing that. And we're kind of excited by that. The people that are our leaders, the adult Jamboree contingents leaders, they're accepted after they apply. They apply to the council. Goes pretty soon. We've worked hard to spread the leaders out all around our council. And we also work hard so that if we look at all the leaders that are going, we work it so that about 50% of the leaders have been before and 50% are brand new. So if you look at what we call the Mayflower Council leadership, there's me as contingent leader. Brian Dwayne will be one of the assistant scoutmasters, and Brian has been to World Jamboree and to the Jamboree a number of times. So I've asked Brian if Brian would serve as our contingent leader at the Jamboree. And I said up front, I would not go. I've been a number of times, and I think it's important for a new person to have a chance to go. So Brian will serve as a contingent leader there and will also be one of the assistant scoutmasters on one of the troops. Leanne Shaw. Leanne is going to be the scoutmaster for our girls troop. And then if we look at the boys troops, Jim Rich from Headwaters District, Tom Kemper from Post Road, Simon Thomas from Metacomet, and Jim McKnight from Sachem. Those will be our 4 scoutmasters. And working with them, they're assistant scoutmasters, which we haven't named. And all the leaders have not been selected yet. Only some of them have. So if we look at those leaders, they all have good experience with Jamboree stuff, and they're going to be good leaders. They're starting to work within their districts. They're doing presentations for troops. So we're trying to do presentations for all troops right now and explain what's happening and answer all questions that people have. So if we look at it, here's our plan. First, once scouts sign up, they're going to be placed in a Jamboree troop. The Jamboree troop is a brand new troop with leaders, and it will function just like their home troop. Doesn't take the place of the home troop, but it'll function just like the home troop. Their Jamboree troop will have a senior patrol leader, assistant patrol leader. It'll have patrol leaders in all the positions that exist in the regular troop. They'll get a new set of patches to wear to represent their troop, along with their new leaders. That Jamboree troop will meet before the Jamboree about 3 or 4 times. And every time it meets, the boys need to be there, and one parent or guardian needs to be there with them. There'll be separate meetings at these troop meetings for the adults, for the parents, to explain what's happening, and a separate meeting for the scouts. And then when it's time to leave for the Jamboree, wherever that meeting place is, they'll be leaving from there. So if we look at it on Tuesday, July 20th at 6 a.m., the buses will depart. And wherever the troops are meeting from, the buses are going to leave from there. We'll talk about what they're bringing later. They'll leave from those locations, and they're heading right to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Once they get on that bus, everything is paid for. So they're going to get on the bus. If we stop for dinner, we stop for lunch, we stop for breakfast, they're going to get handed cash by their scoutmaster. And there'll be a number of places where they can go and get something to eat. And everything is taken care of. So by 2 p.m., we arrive in Philadelphia. There'll be a tour of the major attractions in Philadelphia: Independence Hall, Liberty Bell, Betsy Ross House, the area. And at 5:30, we'll have dinner in Philadelphia. We arrive at the hotel. Hotel quiet time, naturally. And then it's time for sleep. Wednesday morning, we get up. Breakfast in the hotel. We depart for the Jamboree at 8 a.m. And then we have check-in time at the Jamboree. We're assigned that time. So at 2 p.m., our buses arrive at the Jamboree. The biggest thing that most of our scouts have been to is Mass Jam. And if you think how big Mass Jam is, the entire Mass Jam is about almost as big as one of the sub-camps at the Jamboree. So if you look at the picture that's on the right-hand side of the screen, on the top of the right-hand side of the screen, you see water. That's the waterfront. The waterfront is a giant lake right in the middle of the Summit Center. And if you look at that little white box that's there, sorry, the picture is so little, that little white box, you see that stage where the shows happen. And all those little people, you see the little dots, those are all the scouts at the show. Yeah, 40,000 of them. So when we look at it, one of the things I'm going to keep telling you a couple times in this, if you haven't done this, go to YouTube and look up the Jamboree. There are lots of Jamboree sites on YouTube that will show you everything beautifully. You can see every activity, everything, how it's done, and it's spectacular. The stadium shows are spectacular with great talent. There are special areas for mountain bike, skateboarding. The zip lines are some of the biggest in the United States. The archery range is nothing like they've ever seen at camp. The shooting sports are spectacular. Again, if you're used to a shotgun range at camp, shotgun range at the Jamboree, you're shooting off the side of a mountain with about 100 spots with giant areas to do things. The rock climbing, again, you see a little part of this, is spectacular. Major patch trading, the biggest patch trading in the country is happening there. When you look at the little picture of tents, we do not bring tents. All the tents are there. All our scouts have to bring is the clothes they're wearing and the things that they want, like that. Their sleeping bag. The tents are provided. The stoves are provided. The food is all provided. Everything is there when we get there. There'll be a big pile of tents, and we set them up. Everything is brand spanking new. It is spectacular. Next slide. Once we do all our stuff at the Jamboree, this talks about how we're leaving. But I would say at the Jamboree, when our scouts get up in the morning, they have breakfast. Breakfast is at our site. And again, everything is prepared. And everything you can look at right now on the site is online. Every menu is there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for every day. Also, pretty soon, every ingredient will be up. So if you wonder, is there something in this lunch that I can't eat? Every ingredient is there. So if you have a special diet, it can be taken care of. If the diet is because of something you can't eat or because of a religious difference, everything will be provided. So it gets delivered to our site, and everybody in the Jamboree is eating the same thing. So when you look at it, breakfast is provided. When we finish our breakfast, the kids go off and do stuff at the Jamboree. We do not travel as a troop. You do not travel with your adult leaders. You travel with your friends. The Jamboree is giant. It's a couple of miles across. It's not a little thing. So you could get up in the morning and walk 45 minutes to get to one of your activities. It's a giant area. It's in the mountains, and it's beautiful. Someplace along the way, when you're doing your activities, you're going to stop for lunch, and you'll have lunch with you. And again, you just keep going. You don't come back to your site until it's time for dinner. At dinner time, everybody goes back to their site. And again, dinner is provided, and dinner, again, is all set. We have our stoves there. Sometimes it's cooking, sometimes it's warming up, and then we have dinner. After dinner, there are activities. And again, for the activities, sometimes we go off as a troop, and sometimes you go off just by yourself. Things like patch trading happen all day long in different areas, and kids are always carrying patches with them. When we look at the evening, there are evening shows. And again, big names come in and do those shows, and they're kind of spectacular. So we'll come back to that. But let's just say the Jamboree is all done right now. And on Friday, July 30th, at 7 o'clock in the morning, we leave. We leave, and let me just get out of this here. We leave, and my computer's doing funny things. Sorry. Try that again. We leave. We're heading for Comfort Inn for the hotel, and lunch is provided. Once we check into the hotel, we are in Pennsylvania, and we're heading right for Hershey Park. Park, again, is a giant amusement park, and we'll be there for the night. So when we look at it, we're going to be there till it closes, and you'll get a meal voucher to get food inside Hershey Park. We're going to leave Hershey Park and come back to the hotel. We're going to have breakfast the next morning, and then because we only spent part of the day in Hershey Park, we're going back. So we're going to go back to Hershey Park in the morning, and again, you're going to get another meal voucher, and at 2 o'clock, we'll be leaving Hershey Park. We're going to stop on the way home for dinner, and estimated time right now, depending on traffic and all the other stuff, is back at the sites where we started from at 9 p.m. So in a nutshell, that's the Jamboree travel stuff. If you've never seen Hershey Park, again, go to YouTube and look at the things that are at Hershey Park. Again, it's one giant park, and in the day that we're there, you still can't do everything. So that's how we'll end our Jamboree experience. Next slide, Jack. We have a little video here. This is the video that National put out. We just changed it to make sure it's a council. It's less than 2 minutes, so let's just watch.
If you like having fun, and if you like adventure and trying new things, the Jamboree is the best place to do it.
Go hard, yeah, fighting to the field, blood, the sweat, the tears. Go hard, listen to the pain, it's ours for the taking.
If you're deciding to come to the Jamboree, it's awesome.
You get to do stuff like this. It is such a great experience for anyone who wants to get outside and do stuff.
Everybody seems to come off smiling out there like, yeah, this is awesome.
you're coming to Jamboree and you want high up in the air, fun, while testing yourself, the ropes course.
If you're going to come to the Jamboree, I recommend the skate park 100%.
If you have the opportunity to go to the 2021 Jamboree, definitely go. It's the chance of a lifetime.
Go hard, go hard, yeah. To the fear, the blood, the sweat, the tears. Go hard, go hard. Listen to the pain, it's ours for the taking. Here we go, 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 here we go. Hard, go hard, yeah. To the fear, the blood, the sweat, the tears. Go hard, go hard. Listen to the pain, it's ours for the taking. Here we go, 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 here we go. Hard, go hard. Listen to the pain, it's ours for the taking. Hard.
So in the course of what we're doing, there's no way to really show all the things that happen at the Jamboree. It can't be done. For most of our kids going, it's a one-shot deal because it happens every 4 years. So unless someone goes when they're 12 years old, they don't get a chance to go again as a scout. They may go someday as a leader. But for a lot of kids, it's a once-in-a-lifetime shot. I truly say, go onto YouTube and look at some of the different things. Councils have put things up. The Jamboree has put things up. You can see this. You can see the shows. You can see all the kind of things that are happening from the last Jamborees. But here's our requirements. If you look at it, to be accepted as one of the scouts to go, and you read all this stuff, it says you must be 12 years old by the first day of the Jamboree. And you're going to look at it and say, gee, I've got a 12-year-old, but I think he's too young to go. There's going to be 10,000 of the 12-year-olds there. Don't worry. They're going to have fun. They must be approved by the unit leader, and they must have appropriate body complete the stuff online and set it up. You need to set up the stuff online and set an account for each individual scout that's going. So as parents, a lot of us have online accounts with our scouting number in it, but we need that same thing for every scout. That's how they sign up. Scouts don't sign up on their parents' accounts. So when we look at that, if you go onto the council site afterwards, everything's explained on there. You have to set up an individual account for all the scouts that are going. And if you're going as one of the adult leaders, you register under your own account. There's a payment fee schedule there. Again, that payment fee schedule was set up long before this virus thing hit. If there's any problems with it, if you look at it and say, gee, I can't afford to do that right now, all you need to do is send an email, call the council office, and ask for Jack Colamaria. Jack is the other half of me, and Jack takes care of the payment part. So if you say, gee, I can only pay X amount of money right now, and then I can do, Jack can arrange that for you. There's no reason that any scout can't go because of money. You need to talk to Jack, and if you make those arrangements, nobody else knows that but Jack. None of the scout leaders know that. None of the other people in the boys' troop know that. That's between you and Jack, and that's all set up. None of the rest of us know that. So when you look at it, this is the payment schedule that was set up originally. A lot of people are following that pretty good, and we have some that are on special payment plans. You do whatever you need for your kids. That's what's important. The other part that's really important, none of the scouts and none of the parents have to make a choice. When you pay your Jamboree fee, it also includes a week of summer camp. That's a week at summer camp in one of our camps, either Camp Resolute or Camp Squanto, in any program. So if you look at it, we don't want you to have to decide, okay, my scouts going to the Jamboree, they're not going to go to summer camp with their troop. Nobody should have to make that choice. traveling with your troop is important. Your troop is the number one thing. The Jamboree troop is a second troop. So if your troop is going to Camp Resolute or Camp Squano, you've got a week there all paid for. If your troop is going to someplace else, we're only paying for Resolute and Squano. So you can still go to Camp Resolute and Squano. You can go to one of the provisional weeks. You could sign in for Eagle Week. You could sign in for NYLT, one of the special weeks, for Venture Week. It doesn't matter, but you've got a week of camp included. And that's really important. One of the things you also may be concerned about is what happened if something is canceled. And again, on the cancel website, there's a detailed refund policy. This is what happens. So we've got that covered, we think, and that shouldn't be a problem or a concern for any of the parents. The Jamboree fee that is paid includes all transportation, all the meals, everything that happens during the Jamboree, before the Jamboree, after the Jamboree. Every time we're traveling on a bus, every time we go somewhere and we get off, the scout's going to be handed cash. So they'll be given money to pay for it. And usually when we have to do that, we would stop at an area where there's a bunch of different things. There's a Wendy's, there's a McDonald's, there's the Burger King, there's a whatever. So there's a number of places where they can go and choose, and they all run in and get whatever they want. It includes their T-shirts, their hat, one from National, one from the contingent. It includes a Jamboree neckerchief. It includes 2 sets of patches. Our patch sets are 6 because we have 5 troops going, and the 6th one is for staff. Besides people traveling with our contingent, we have a number of people in our council that will be on staff at the Jamboree. Adults can go and be on staff and do anything on staff. They can serve in any area, any part that's working, and all those jobs are listed, and there's hundreds. All those jobs are listed on the Jamboree site. Some years, again, with Old Colony Council, we've had as many as 80 adults that have been there on staff, along with the contingent. So a lot of people go, they're on staff doing all kinds of things. One of the things that has to happen is there's a Jamboree code of conduct. It has to be signed for the Jamboree and the Mayflower Council. And you need to understand that when we're at the Jamboree, that code of conduct is enforced by Jamboree officials. So if a scout does something wrong at the Jamboree, it's out of our hands. It's handled by the Jamboree people, and they can say, okay, you're going home. And there is no choice. So if a scout does something wrong, and you can guess at all the wrong things, if a scout does something wrong, the Jamboree will send them home, and we have no choice. So that's important that you understand that. And if they're sent home at your expense, and there is no refund. We just expect kids to be good, so to speak. If you look at it, depending on the troop, there'll be 3 or 4 Jamboree meetings. And again, these are done to get the kids to know each other. The kids in a Jamboree troop come from, for the most part, your entire district. For the girls that are in that troop, they come from our entire council because we only have one girls troop. So when we look at it, we do 3 or 4 meetings, and the idea is to get them to know each other. They'll be introduced to their leaders, and that will come later. We usually plan that first troop meeting is in September. Again, with this virus going on, it may be a little bit later. We're not sure what's going to happen. And in addition to that, when you come to those meetings, we expect one adult to be there with you, with the scout every time. We do separate meetings at the Jamboree for the adults to let you know what's going on, so you have a chance to meet the leaders that are taking care of the scouts. That's important, that you understand who the leaders are, because they're not your regular troop leaders. And one of the things that will happen at these troop meetings is we'll do a community project. That's a requirement of the Jamboree. In the past jamborees, we've done a community service thing at the jamboree. But for this jamboree, they're suggesting that we do a community service project home in our own council. And we'll do that with all of our troops. And it gives us one bigger part of an extra day at the jamboree to do events. So it's a positive for our kids that are traveling. In our past jamborees, we've done 3 fundraisers, and the fundraisers go directly to the scouts to help pay for the jamboree. So what we've done in the past, we've done the popcorn. And again, I know the troops do popcorn, but we've also done popcorn with the troop for the jamboree, with the profit. Eversource and National Grid have done LED light bulb programs. And when we sell the light bulbs are given to us free, and 100% of the profit goes to the scout. And again, some of the scouts have made hundreds of dollars just on the light bulb. We've also had very successful around Thanksgiving and Christmas with Grandma's coffee cakes at 50% profit. So we'll do those again. And that information will come to you by your scout leaders. And that would be there. Next one, Jack. So this is where you start. If you go to the Mayflower Council site, you click on the national link and you apply to the national site and you make a deposit link and you're all set. You need to sign up with the council and with national, and again, it explains to you how to do that, and everything should be all set. I'm available to answer questions for you at any time, and depending on what district you're in, those scoutmasters that are in your district have also picked right now at least one assistant scoutmaster. So working within every district, there are at least 2 leaders that we've selected for each troop. And between that and the council office, again, the link at the council office is Jack Colamaria, and Jack can answer questions. If you have questions right now and you put them in, we'll answer them for you right now. So if someone's got a question in their little live comment thing, go for it. Scout. So there's no limit on what you can do with the money that you raise. It truly goes to the scout. One of the things we didn't say, a scout needs 1 uniform. Most of the rest of the time is spent in Class B t-shirts, any kind. But every day at the jamboree, they're in scout shorts and a Class B shirt. Yes, that's right. When scouts raise money, they're not raising money for their troop. They're raising money for the individual scout. So if your scout's name is Julie, and Julie's selling light bulbs, and Julie makes $250 in light bulbs, Julie gets $250. And if Jim doesn't do any fundraising and doesn't earn any money, Jim doesn't get any. Does that make sense like that? So that's right. Money is earned by the individual scout, and money stays with the individual scout. Thanks, Leanne. That was a good question. No questions from anyone else? One of the things I hope that does happen, I hope you look at all the stuff. I hope your scouts go. I hope your scouts encourage their friends to go and other scouts that they know to go. It truly is a wonderful experience. It's one of the coolest things they're going to do. And someday sitting around when they're talking with their kids and their grandkids, they're going to talk about the jamboree. It's a biggie. They're going to meet kids not just from all over the United States, but from all over the world. Because kids from other countries, the boys' troops are all camping in one section. The girls' troops are all camping in another section together, but we're all there together. So we're all in the same area. They're not in different parts of the camp. And again, I was serious when I said this is giant. It's a couple miles across. It's a lot of walking. Important tips before you apply. Go to our website. And one of the things I said earlier is You need the Scouts membership number. And when you go on, you're going to create an account on My Scouting. And when you look at that My Scouting, again, a lot of our adult leaders already have those accounts. You can't register your son or daughter on your account. They have their own number, and it sets everything up for them that way. So that's what this is saying, and you should be all set. So it asks for the information, and when you do that on the account, this is all you put in. And it tags your account number with your date of birth and all that stuff like that. And it makes it all work for you. So that's what it does. This is what it looks like. And you set up an email for them, and then they get information. So once you create that account, you create a Jamboree application, and you can apply for scholarships. And again, that's all explained there. And yes, there are scholarships. So if you're interested in applying for scholarships, please do that. After you complete the national information that tells you, go back to our page, you make a deposit. Your deposit's being made under the Mayflower Council, not under the National Jamboree, under the Mayflower Council. And then the Mayflower Council sets that up for you and will send you regular reminders of the payment is due, and you should be all set on that. And it says, tell your Scoutmaster that you signed up. So if you sign up for the Jamboree, make sure your home Scoutmaster know that you did that. And ask your Scoutmaster, hey, encourage more of my guys to do that. And we hope you do that. Any other questions? If you have a troop that has not had a presentation yet, please let us know, and we'll do an individual presentation for your troop. We're very pleased to do that, and we're trying to get out and talk to every troop. We think that's important. So again, thank you for the night. And we'll call it a night. Thank you very much.